Polipede works here. Today I will be going over the first in a line of videos discussing the relationship several characters have with the characters known as Bartholomew Kuma and Jinbei. With that being said, let's get started. Before we go any further, I would like to say that there will be spoilers for the time skip, most notably spoilers for Egghead Island, the arc after one of the bigger arcs in the time skip known as Wano. With that being said, the topic of today's video will be discussing the sort of trifecta that Nami, Koala, and Bonnie have in terms of their relationships to Jinbei and Bartholomew Kuma. First, let's talk about Koala. Koala has the unique privilege of both knowing Jinbei and Kuma very intimately. It was the Sun Pirates and by extension Jinbei who liberated Koala from slavery. Fisher Tiger then rebranded Koala, removing the mark of the Celestial Dragon and replacing it with the mark of the Sun Pirates. She also has the unique standing so far in the story to be the only human to bear the mark of the Sun Pirates on her back. We also find out that during this flashback of Jinbei's, that he and Koala share a few intimate exchanges on the relationships between human and fishman. In terms of Kuma, we know that Kuma, during the time of Koala joining the Revolutionary Army as a child along with Sabo, Kuma acted as a mentor to both of them, or you could even go as far to say a surrogate father figure. Now, let's move on to Bonnie. Bonnie makes up one half of our triangle here, as she has a unique relationship with one Bartholomew Kuma and presumably being his adoptive daughter as the story is unfolding in Egghead currently. What is also very unique is that unlike perhaps Koala, Bonnie actually sees Kuma as a parental figure, as she refers to him as father and daddy several times throughout Egghead as the events have been unfolding. What's also very interesting is that despite traveling with Jinbei for the majority of the Egghead Island arc, still does see him as an acquaintance, as nothing of note has developed in their relationship, which makes her a stark contrast to our next topic of conversation, whom is Nami. Nami makes up the other half of our triangle here, as, like with Jinbei with Bonnie, Nami with Kuma is more of an acquaintance relationship. Some important things to point out: Nami is the first one to notice Kuma on Thriller Bark, and she's the first one to see his power in action. However, when we move over to Jinbei, a lot can be said. Jinbei is currently a crew member on the Straw Hats now, so she has a very close relationship with him that's very personal and deep. They even work together. However, Jinbei is somewhat responsible for how her life turned out, because it was his negligence of reigning in Arlong which caused Nami so much grief in her childhood. Lastly, if you notice, two of these women have a very unique similarity. Both of them were marked by an organization, only for that mark to be replaced by another with another connotation later on. However, of these two women, only one has had that whole journey be displayed on screen. Koala has only been suggested. We see Nami's tattoo, we see the destruction of said tattoo, and we see its replacement being done. However, with Koala, we never see the slave branding, but we do see how the brand is replaced by Fisher Tiger. However, we have not seen her back bare as an adult, which I think is a reveal that needs to take place and may be very significant when it does. It is important to point out the contrast between Nami and Koala's brandings, because I think this is thematically important. When Koala was first branded, it was by humans, the Celestial Dragons, for a negative connotation. Then when she is rebranded by Fishmen Pirates, it is for a positive connotation. When Nami is branded by pirates, fishermen pirates at that, it is for a negative connotation, with the same mark of being a slave of some sort. Then, when she is rebranded by a human tattoo artist, it is for a positive connotation because the tattoo represents her island and the people she loves on that island. Now I would like to turn my attention to Bonnie. So far in Egghead, we have not seen both of Bonnie's legs bare, completely bare. There is one scene when she is wringing out her clothes and we see one of her thighs, but we do not see the other, nor do we see either of her calves. Why am I focusing so heavy on her legs? For one simple reason. In her design, you'll see that the most intricate part of said design are the stockings she's always wearing. These stockings have like a little sunflower or a sun pattern on them, and they have been a very interestingly intricate part of her design since her unveiling during Shabandi Archipelago. It has also been revealed that she does have some kicking prowess, as she did kick Luffy out of the way when he was about to attack the one pacifista that was policing the one area of Egghead Island that they were in. In One Piece, if someone's wearing something intricate or a mask, it's usually to cover up something that they don't want people to see. That thing is usually trauma or a gag or a combination of the two. You see this with Duval as he's trying to hide his face because it looks like the poorly drawn Sanji Wanted poster. You see this with Killer as he's trying to hide his face and I guess in tandem trying to muffle his laugh. And then you could also make the argument for this being the reason for Koala wearing a fancy dress shirt in her key design. So I say all this to say that this would probably lead back to Bonnie's intricate stockings. She is hiding something. So I surmise that sometime in the future, Bonnie too will be revealed or noted to have some sort of mark or branding on her leg, and there will be some sort of story behind that mark. Most likely a story that is related to Kuma. I would say too, when we do see Bonnie's mark, it will probably have a combination of those values. Either it will be a mark that has been altered by Kuma himself, or will have some sort of relationship with Kuma in some way. With that being said, give me your thoughts. If you like stuff like this, please feel free to check out my YouTube channel, Polipede Works. And if you like what you see, I would appreciate your subscription. Thank you so much. See you next time.